This is Zhengzhou, the capital city of Henan province. Can you guess what this transparent tent is for? It's a quarantine chamber. Zhengzhou has an outbreak. Look, it's to prevent people from going out. Look at these spikes. They can even think of such a trick. Since October 17th of this year, Zhengzhou city authorities have escalated epidemic control, asking residents not to go out or leave the city unless necessary, and the city has entered a de facto lockdown. Some Zhengzhou residents have told overseas Chinese media that this is the most severe lockdown the city has ever seen. Some of those who have left the quarantine sites are still required to wear electronic bracelets for home quarantine. On October 25th, there was an outbreak at the Foxconn factory owned by Taiwan's Hanhai Group in this city. News spread that at least thousands of workers got infected. Nearly 20,000 workers have been hauled away for quarantine as a result, with many cross-infected at quarantine sites. One room per person can no longer be accommodated at the factory dormitory. Lodging facilities and hotels around Foxconn factories have been requisitioned. This Evergrande Rottentail building has been temporarily transformed into an isolation zone, which is now fully occupied. Because of the fear of people making trouble or jumping off buildings, the windows of these uncompleted buildings have been blocked off, and the cell phone signals of people isolated in the building aren't good, making the transmission of information difficult. Sometimes people could only get one meal a day. At the quarantine site, some blue-collar laborers had nothing to eat, so they smashed up supermarkets and looted supplies while clashing with those dressed in white, commonly known as dabai in Chinese. No one knows exactly how the outbreak in Zhengzhou is faring, except that the city is looking pretty scary right now. You can see long, drawn-out lines of people getting nucleic acid tests. There are also countless buses moving people from the city to the rural county more than 100 kilometers away for quarantine. Many buses secretly hauled people away at night for quarantine. The entire province of Henan, located in central China, seems to be in bad shape. Here's a high school that has been locked down due to an outbreak, but it isn't reported in the news. Angry students are lashing out at the principal in a foul-mouthed rant. People from Henan who are out of town are also having a hard time. Some of them are intercepted in other provinces and forcibly quarantined on the spot. Some cannot afford the expensive 7-day quarantine fee and are trapped in a difficult situation. A man of Henan origin in transit is trapped for quarantine in Shanxi province.
What about the fee?
I really don't have money to pay the fee. Please report to the higher up to see what can be done.
If you don't have money, your coat will always be red and you will have to stay here all the time. And later on, your fees will accumulate more and more.
It's not that I don't want to pay the fee, but I haven't made any money from the epidemic in the past few years. I have made many calls. People I know are like me, in the same class. They don't have money either, so it's not just me. Haven't I told you? I can work for your hotel for a period of time to pay for the fee.
Our hotel staff have all been sent home.
I can work as a volunteer too. I don't want to live here for nothing. That's not the kind of thing I want to do.
This has nothing to do with our hotel. You try to think of ways before lunch. It's not easy for us here because we've been waiting for you for so long.
That's true. It hasn't been easy for you guys over the past 3 years. Again, it's not that I don't want to pay the fee.
I explained your situation to the higher up. There's no way. If your fee is unpaid, your red health code won't change because our billing system is linked with the system at the top.
Amidst the white terror of the epidemic, there are people who feel particularly good about themselves. They are the ones wearing red armbands, policing people in the name of epidemic prevention and control. White terror means the political repression on civilians. Look what we have on, look what we wear. Security patrol, ha ha ha. Can you be like me? I am out and about. Can you be out like me? Wearing this, I can walk around and go anywhere I want. I can pick on anyone I want. Ha ha ha. Anyone I want. As the 20th Communist Party Congress came to a close in late October, official outbreak statistics rose rather than fell. Resurgent outbreaks exist in almost all of China's provinces and are spreading in places like Beijing and Tianjin, but the infected numbers are small and not actually aligned with the current scale of prevention. According to official Chinese figures, from October 27th, for example, the city with the worst outbreak has about 2,500 confirmed cases, followed by about 1,600, while Zhengzhou in Henan province has only 769 confirmed cases. But the quarantine control is getting more strict. Look, this is the fence of Beijing Capital Normal University with razor fencing and electronic fencing. Students from universities and high schools are protesting against the prolonged lockdown as their physical and mental capacities are being tested to the extreme. In some provinces, students are allegedly not told what's happening when they are pulled away for quarantine. Instead, they are tricked into buses, thinking it's only an epidemic prevention drill. The school has tried to block all the information too. Videos posted by students and related accounts have been suspended. The CCP's anti-epidemic policy has been in place for nearly 3 years and is becoming more extreme, even to the point of absurdity. The truck driver from Inner Mongolia was told not to get out of the truck and quarantined inside the truck.
You can't get off the vehicle.
What should I do for food?
It'll be brought to you.
What about using the toilet?
You cover your face and stick your butt out.
The CCP's anti-epidemic policy basically consists of 3 items: domestic vaccines, nucleic acid testing, and quarantine. The domestic vaccine is apparently so ineffective that it has been quietly retired. The remaining 2 have since become more crazy, but no one dares to publicly question how effective they are. This is us from Donghuayao Market West Court. We were all negative, not even one positive case. In the night of October 15th, we were woken up in the middle of the night and transported by bus to a hotel for quarantine. After a period of quarantine, the result of the nucleic acid test in the past 2 days was that in a room that 7 to 10 people shared, 7 of the 8 people in the room became positive, and 4 of the 6 people in the room became positive. Now we are all finished. We have been screwed. Who will be responsible for this? We are now being transferred to another hotel for quarantine. We are waiting outside the hotel. Now the demand for quarantine space is increasing, and the conditions are getting worse. Lanzhou, a capital city in northwest China, is a city where the nighttime temperature has reached minus 10 degrees Celsius, and people in quarantine camps have only thin blankets. This is not the worst of it. Many people in Lanzhou have to sleep in the open air in quarantine zones. According to official data released, Lanzhou's current wave of the outbreak has been going on for a month since September 9th. Currently, a total of 4 confirmed cases and 642 asymptomatic infections have been reported. Multiple sources have reported that many people have perished as a result of the strict lockdown control. We are unable to show these sensitive images here. At present, the Chinese people are almost completely disillusioned with the effectiveness of the lockdown in fighting the outbreak. When they hear the news of the lockdown, their first reaction is to flee. This is a city in southwest China where people with personal cars are rushing to escape the lockdown zone. Too many fleeing cars have jammed the roads. What do the blocked off areas in this city look like? Look, a very long fence. The fences are guarded by a number of dedicated staff at regular intervals. The authorities declared only 1 positive case in the city at the time of the massive lockdown. When will this extreme zero COVID campaign end? No one knows. The Chinese people are waiting, hoping, and building up a great deal of resentment.
现在是2022年10月25号
It's October 25th, 2022. It's the last day of the government's 3 days of coaxing us and 3 days of lying to us. But we don't know if the government will coax and lie for another 3 days. We can see that the residents are hoping to get out. They are talking to each other over the fence and exchanging supplies. Look how happy that grandpa is smiling. How much he misses freedom. I don't know if it'll happen again when the government coaxes and cheats us for another 3 days. We'll see. In this neighborhood of Guangzhou, people gather to protest the government not keeping its promise. It promised to lift the blockade after 7 days, but it's been 10 days and still the lockdown hasn't been lifted. Do words not count? If you promise something, you have to keep the promise. You have to abide the law in order to enforce it. When you enforce it like this, can you tell me what law you are enforcing?
This epidemic is very annoying. There is no one at the train station. This train is running for me alone. See? When will this epidemic end? It's driving people crazy.